Hey there, this is Natalie, and this is just going to be a short video this time with some facts about the rectum-chomping murder rabbits we saw for the first time in episode 8 of season 2 of ReZero. Why? Because yes. There will be world-building type spoilers in here about the rabbits, in terms of things like how they work and how and why they came to exist, which are things that will be revealed later in season 2 as we find out more about them. But I'm not going to be spoiling anything that actually happens with them, like any future encounters Subaru might have with them after episode 8, or if and how they can be defeated. So if you're anime only, it's kind of up to you whether you mind being spoiled on world building details about the rabbits or not. I won't be spoiling the plotline concerning them that started with episode 8 beyond that episode. If you've read the light novels or the web novel, or you're watching this after more of season 2's been aired, then there will be no spoilers for you, so you can freely enjoy revisiting the horrible little things in this video. So, without further ado, here are the facts. The rabbits are actually a swarm of creatures that's considered one entity, and it's known by most people as the Great Rabbit. Though there was one unofficial translation of Arc 4 of the web novel, where the translator, who's remained anonymous, decided to call it the Sizable Hare instead. For some reason, I still call it the Sizable Hare in my head. In any case, the Great Rabbit is one of 3 great magical beasts that exist in ReZero's world. People in this world are aware that these things exist, and they are very afraid of them. The arrival of any of these 3 creatures in a region is considered a catastrophe. The first of the 3 was the white whale, which was destroyed in season 1, and you may have noticed that the glowing halo type thing the whale had over it is kind of the same design as the little purple marks shown on the individual rabbits, and that seems to be the kind of visual way of marking these out as great magical beasts. They have horns, like all of the other witch beasts we've seen. And yeah, I'm sorry, for some reason I really hate saying the officially used translation, which is mabeasts, so I say witch beasts, including the dogs in season 1, and the various weird things that were with Elsa attacking the mansion in season 2 episode 6. If Subaru was from the ReZero world and more aware of things like this, there's no way he would have tried to touch a small white rabbit with a horn. But something that isn't really noted as much in the anime about Subaru as it was in the web novels is that Subaru has a bit of a thing for soft, fluffy things. He's not a furry or anything, he's just enthusiastic about petting cute, fluffy fur. We saw a bit with Puck that he really wanted to pet his fur, but in general, whenever he sees a fluffy animal, he really wants to stroke it. Maybe he won't so much after this incident, we'll just have to see. The third great magical beast isn't furry, and is known as the Black Snake. It was mentioned in the Frozen Bonds movie, but that thing is a topic for another video. The only instinct and motivation the creatures that make up the Great Rabbit know is hunger. They're basically just feeding machines with no other functions but to seek out anything edible and consume it. They reproduce instantly by dividing, and individuals will eat each other too, meaning that the number of rabbits is always in flux, though there does seem to be a ceiling to the number that can exist at any time, but it's in the thousands. With them being so small, this is a real problem. Individual rabbits are basically as weak as you might expect a rabbit to be, but unless you can kill every single one without even an instant of time between their deaths for more to spawn, their numbers will be back up again straight away. This is why nobody's been able to make a stand against them in the 400 years the Great Rabbit has been roaming the world. I won't go into the whole story of the great beasts and their creation, because it will make a lot more sense when you get to know the character of the Witch of Gluttony who created them, and I want to keep this to a short video about the rabbits, rather than going in deep about the witches. There'll be plenty of opportunities to talk about them in the next few weeks. But the basic gist of why the Great Rabbit exists is that it was an attempt by Daphne, the Witch of Gluttony, to end world hunger. Yeah, ReZero witches, when they meddle in stuff like that, due to having their own logic and worldview that is fairly incomprehensible to normal humans, generally end up doing stuff that makes everything suck way worse than it did before. The Great Rabbit was created in that age around 400 years before Subaru arrived in the ReZero world, when the witches were all alive and causing all of this kind of mayhem and crap. That period was kind of their world's 2020. Since then, the rabbits basically roam the world, intermittently appearing somewhere populated and almost instantly wiping out a whole town. It does seem a bit unfortunate that Subaru managed to run into 2 out of 3 of the great magical beasts in such a short space of time. We know that the whale being where it was in season 1 is likely to have something to do with the witch cult Sin Archbishops Leibat and Kaitos of gluttony and Regulus Cornelius of greed being around there, given Lei referred to the whale as their pet. And the witch cultists had become active because Emilia had been publicly announced as a royal selection candidate. The whale then wasn't a coincidence, but what about the rabbits? Well, without spoiling any plot points, the rabbits were lured to the sanctuary by a large amount of magic being unleashed there, which Subaru wasn't around to see because he was involved in the fight with Garfield. But we can see that the weather's changed and everything's covered in snow. We've seen weather changing as a result of magic before, in the Memory Snow OVA, and of course when Puck turns into his Beast of the End form if Emilia dies, and makes the world freeze over. Whatever magic was performed in Sanctuary while Subaru was attempting his ill-fated escape was what caused the snow and lured the Great Rabbit, which was otherwise minding its own business somewhere in the surrounding area, to come to the Sanctuary and feast on everything it found there. The rabbits don't leave much behind when they eat, which is why everywhere in the sanctuary was completely devoid of people or even skeletons. So, that was basically what you need to know about the Great Rabbit. I'll just leave you with one last thought. The black snake is even worse. Thank you for watching. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already and you want to see more ReZero content. I put out new ReZero videos several times a week, including episode reviews, cut content, and theories. I'm quite a new channel, and I really appreciate everyone who subscribes. That's all for now, but I really hope to see you again soon for more about ReZero.